So when you take away the branding of a lot of things, I realize there's a very interesting thing about the way we process information, and it comes down to the setting and the context of what it's in. So if I remove the stage and I remove the fans, it's someone sending out a mating call or a connecting call or a chant or something like that, right? But the minute I put a brand behind it and dancers and everything, now it's like, no, it's a show. So I just find that really fascinating about setting in context, especially when it comes to human voice. And I wish more people emoted through singing, because I think that they would almost remove a lot of traumas that they have, and they don't realize how powerful that pushing out of the energy and that call does to other people when they are fully free to emote. Because I think when they keep it blocked in, it's almost like they're keeping trapped energy in. And that's why you see these, sometimes you'll see these retreats where people they're just yelling, right? And they're just getting it all out. They're like, get it out, get it out. I'm like, yeah, you're getting out trapped, stored energy. But all of us can be doing that all the time. Like when I sing, I think a big reason of why I'm not as stressed, and people ask me like, oh, you don't seem to react too much about certain things. And I'm like, I sing every day. I sing every single day. So if there's something in there, I'm getting it out, and if I know it or not, but it's coming out. So anyway, on to your other question about what do I see, because about the light and the dark. I kind of view it as I said this to you before, it's more of like a sandwich technique, where if you have something at the top and at the bottom, everything in the middle usually starts to come together. And I feel like the reward system right now in society is so unbalanced because we're rewarding very negative behavior only because it creates eye gaze. And once we change the reward system, which can literally happen very quickly, the reward system is just a simple moving of the pieces in the code. Just, we're not going to reward that. We're going to reward this. And once that shift happens, all of the youth who are looking a lot of times for reward systems, because that's how they're trained, will simply change the way they direct their energy, because they'll realize it's more in line to get reward systems to actually feel good for yourself, for people to be of service. Less of the I and more of the we. When that becomes the shift, then we can do that at the top by having artists who are already well known. And I think this is going to happen in the next couple of years. And I've said this to other people before, but I think once you can prove scientifically, which will happen, they are able to heal people with certain frequencies. I believe certain artists, for two reasons, are going to release albums that are recorded at different hertz. So they might release an album that's at 440 hertz for the main fans, let's say, but they might release an album that's at 432 hertz or 528 hertz or 417. And they'll say, for anyone who might be going through depression, if you listen to this version of the album, it actually is more soothing to your nervous system. So buy this one too, or buy this one instead. And I think by providing that, they're going to double their amount of income. And some people are going to buy the song like this, and some people are going to buy the song like that. But it's going to come once it's proven, and also put that artist in a way where the fans will say, oh, it's really nice that they did that they thought of us as well, right? So I feel like getting artists who are already established, thinking like this, understanding it, being able to make money from it, because they don't want to take a pay cut. I think it's the reason why a lot of artists don't change their behaviors, because they're like, I take a pay cut. And the mansions and the houses, and I mean the houses and the flights and the entourage that they're already paying for, if you say, hey, change for the better, but you got to take a pay cut, a lot of them are going to go, well, no. Like, I have to get as much as I possibly can right now because I'm on fire, in a sense. So I think by giving a way that gives them equally amount as money, maybe even more, but rewarded in a good light, then it'd be easier to switch over. And I think for the artists who are up and coming, to have them genuinely question if people are getting famous and then being taken down, within a year or two, because that's what the marketplace happens when you have instant gratification and very, very short attention spans. An artist is going to be successful, and then you're not going to hear from them 2 years later. So if that's what's happening most likely in your field, wouldn't it be better to sustain yourself by being something truly to what you believe in? And I think once upcoming artists start to see that that's the better route, is to wait, if I'm going to do music for the next 20 years, shouldn't I do something I truly believe in and become a master at that craft? And do I really believe in doing that? And if the answer is no, cool. go over here. So I think it's a mixture of those things, and then providing a container of services, like we were saying before, where there's booking agents and tour managers and A&R producers who all understand that they, in this version of the life that they're living, they have free will and they have the choice to, are they going to choose to do something that's actually beneficial past them getting money? And once they get to that point of their accountability and they think to themselves, wait a second, I actually do, because I know if I could put out a song that actually helps people, and not me tricking myself into saying it like, nah, because I was saying it like this, so that helped me, so it's going to help a lot of these other, like, no, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about knowing that if you leave this behind in 40 years, that song has something so intentional in there that you know that your kids could listen to it too, and they would feel something, not something you have to shield people from with this like PG-13 nonsense. If I put it on this planet, it's good for not just myself, but anyone who touches it. And I think once that starts to get into the mainframe, if we do it all in a collective front, which I believe social media has the power of doing, it's just about switching the reward system. So I think those things can happen in, like I said before, like next 5-10 years. And these conversations that you and I are having, and that some of the executives I've been working with are having, and starting to question their own motives and question what they actually want to leave behind. I think that's what gets the ball rolling. And that's the start of it all. Yeah. And also, I'll be honest, also people who have income who are willing to support the arts, because that's a lot of times how it used to be. You would have these amazing artists, but they were supported by the kings and queens. And now it's the artist trying to sell to the common people, which is, if I was looking at it in the sense of medieval times, when people of infrastructure and influence and income can say, wait a second, we know this can be better for not just financial, but for our kids' better planet. And we're going to get behind this and support that. I think if they supported it in the fashion, it'll become part of the mainstream, because they'll have the money to also promote it and get it into the commonplace of thinking.
Yeah. Can it ultimately compete financially? Is there a way to actually have this compete and be better for the artists down the road?
I think so. I think this has more sustainability for the independent artist. And I think independent artists are what's going to sustain the actual, like if you look across the board, not just the top 50 household names. Like for instance, there's artists who I technically know their names, but I don't know one song they've ever done. I couldn't sing back to you a song of theirs. I know their name because they're always in the headlines of some sort. But there's other artists that I genuinely love what they create, and I will support them. I'll share their music. I'll tell friends about them. So I think independent artists will have, and do have right now, the biggest chance to make a living from their art than ever before in history. But it will take some of those factors to make it to a place where those artists, let's say, and once again, these are using very grandiose levels, but to have an independent artist who does conscious music and let's say plays festivals and shows, I think people like that could make $1 million a year. I think that's possible. They might not make 10 or 20, but make $1 million. Yeah, I think that's possible.